Hey guys, what is up? And it's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, representing the squad, baby. And we're going over an update of my favorite deck of all times. This deck stole my heart a long time ago, and it has had it ever since. It is Herald of Perfection. Now, for those of you who didn't know, I went through a lot with this deck to get it to where it is now. We used to run it with like Advanced Ritual Art and Aratama, and it just wasn't that good. I tried it with Agents. For those of you who are familiar with Agents, Sanctuary of the Sky, Venus, stuff like that. I tried so many different things. Even though we have 65 different builds of Herald of Perfection on my channel, I've went through actually probably over 100 different ways to build the deck, trying to make it better. And I'm just thinking over in the past of how this deck has evolved and came to be where it is. I'm really proud every time I present a Herald of Perfection deck profile. It warms my heart to see that my hard work has paid off immensely, and I brought this deck to the highest tier of its possible caliber. So let's hop into the main deck, and we're going to show you some of the cool cards that we've incorporated into it. So first off, for your monsters, you want to play 3 copies of Herald of Perfection, hands down. He is the boss monster of the deck. He's the definition of anti-meta. This deck is one of the very few decks, if not the one and only deck, that can actually open up with 6 negates consistently, 5 negates consistently. You know, all these decks are being cute and they're trying to open up with as many negates as possible. This monster's deck happens to open up with a bare minimum of 4 negates. Absolutely minimum. That's your worst hand. Your worst hand is Manju in a prep, and you're just going to be having 4 negates at the end of it. And 4 sometimes is still too much. Think of it. 4 forms of disruption. No. 4 negates. That's the best form of disruption, is a negate. So this card is just insane. He builds chain links on himself. He is the very definition and the embodiment of not only anti-meta, but some can even say just rogue in general. He's like the best rogue deck. Because for some reason, Herald of Perfection is not meta, but I'm kind of grateful. I would hate having mirror matches if that was a thing. Then you have 3 Princess Katana. Hiya! She was the only monster that was good to tribute to summon your Herald. Now we have just like 1 added bonus, but still every time I summon Herald, I want to be tributing her to trigger her effect and search virtually the entire deck. She's the engine. This deck has a million different ways to get to its cards. A Terraforming, a Ritual Sanctuary, a Prep or a Pre-Prep, or a Manju, or this card all end up being Stick and Chair. There's a billion ways to get to your cards. Like, it's just crazy. Like how you can open up with the hand that could be like a bunch of spells, then it'll turn into Herald and Stick Chair. Like, everything searches out everything. Am I making sense? This card becomes Manju, Manju becomes this, Terraforming becomes this becomes Stick and Chair, this becomes Honest. Like, it's just so many different ways to get to the same exact card. That's why this deck is so consistent and rarely ever bricks. Your brick is like 1 Herald, and that's kind of, it's enough. And then the newest tech to the deck is Goddess of Sweet Revenge. Now, this card also stole my heart when I pulled it in my Kaiba Collection tins. Now, something really interesting and unique about this card is it happens to be a light fairy. It also happens to be a level 6, and also happens to be searchable by Princess Katana, aka Pom Pom Girl, aka Herald Side Chick. So this card is a really powerful trump card in the Herald archetype in general, because you will have those games where it's like a deck where every card in their hand can be played. That's why I don't really like Pendulum matchups sometimes, because every card in their hand can actually be activated. So that means they have a potential of baiting out every negate in your hand. So this card more or less is your trump card when Herald has ran out of steam, you're in a grind game, and they somehow deal with your Herald and destroyed it, but you search this off of bin 10. If they try to swing on you, you're just going to pitch this, blow up their field, and summon out a Star Seraph Scepter, summon out a Gale Dagra. You can special Gale Dagra from your deck and instantly come back. So this is a trump card. It's just a 1-up. You can also just tribute her to summon your Herald. So she's another option to summon him, because his ritual spell says you have to tribute monsters whose level equal exactly 6. Really important to keep that in mind. Then we have the God card, 3 Gale Dagras. Opening up with this card inevitably contributes to multiple Heralds. You will never just summon 1 Herald when you have this card, because your whole deck is just full of cards that make Herald. Then you have 3 of my Helping Hand, Handy Manny. Really powerful card. I like his versatility. Like Gale Dagra, he gets you the ritual spell or the monster. Obviously, Gale Dagra is better to see because it's an instant +1 on legs. You obviously want to link summon with it after that, so you don't leave it on the field to be attacked over. And then we have the best package in the deck. If you guys have heard that story that I told, if you have not, just go to the most recent deck profile of my 2nd place Herald of Perfection build, where I broke the most practically invincible bear. Okay, real fast. Do you guys, if you guys know about this guy who recently won ARG with Pendulum Magicians, and he's been on Team Samurai X1's channel, I played against a dude who made the exact board as him. It was Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. It was Jackal King with spell counters. It was Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. It was Firewall Dragon, co-linked by a Trigate. I played through that entire board, broke it, and still dropped a Herald with the Star Set package, breaking his board, contributing to that. Summon the Deltros. I broke the entire board. Now, remember when that guy Adrian Berry said, you make this board, you're never going to lose. Guaranteed, you're never going to lose. I laughed to myself, and I said, this guy's obviously never played against Herald of Perfection in his life, and he's lucky that he hasn't. Stick Chair package is your absolute, other than Goddess of Sweet Revenge, this package is like one of your trump cards. It makes sure that you have a follow-up. Like, if I have both these in my hand, I prefer not to discard them for cost to negate with Herald, but if the situation calls for it and you see a card that if you let it resolve, it will ultimately contribute to your demise, then you'll have to suck it up and discard your Stick Chair combo. But luckily it is searchable and recyclable in this deck. And then finally, for a little bit of a package, you have 2 Honest and 1 Barrier Statue. Basically, Barrier Statue says every deck that's not true Dracos cannot play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! More specifically, Pendulum Magicians or just any Pendulum archetype in general. They are highly susceptible to this card right here. And it basically says you literally cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to try to attack over this and you're going to run into an Honest. And if somebody is about to comment in the comment sections, they can just pop it with Purple Poison. That is totally fine. How we've done it, and I explained this before in one of my videos where I opened up with this and this with Honest in hand. This guy literally, he normal summoned Black Fang, right? He activates Purple Poison in scale. I did not respond to Purple Poison. He declares an attack on my Herald with this Black Fang. He says, before damage step, Purple Poison is going to boost Black Fang by 1,200 more, so he's at 29. I said, that's fine. He said, are you responding to the Purple Poison's effect when it's destroyed? If it's destroyed, I said, no, sir. So he said, Purple Poison, target your Herald. I let it go through. He killed my Herald, right? I didn't negate it. Then he tried to swing on Bear Statue. I dropped the Honest. I killed the Black Fang, and I still killed him next turn. So what does Purple Poison do to this deck? Nothing. Like, the stuff that people would say, oh, this deck is weak too, this deck is susceptible, I actually speak from experience that I have not lost to those cards that people say are supposed to be my deck. This deck, honestly, the way it loses is if you don't have Bearer Statue and they kaiju your Herald. But if you have Bearer Statue, they can't kaiju you. This board right here, it's like literally unbreakable. Like, they can't Lava Golem, they can't kaiju, but also they can't Spear Mold. So they have to play into it. But if you can't Special Summon, you can't activate card effects. Those are the 2 most popular functionalities of every deck in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Activating card effects and Special Summoning. And if you can't do either, I don't know about that, but that smells like GG Nori to me. And then for spells, we have 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites, my favorite spell in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we also have 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. This card is like extremely powerful, extremely broken when you're going second and you're activating your Donna the Herald and your opponent negates it. Because if they read it and they don't negate it, that's kind of not wise. But obviously they're gonna negate this every time. So when they negate it, you're just gonna play this, you're gonna add this back and get a free fairy. So it's just really, really strong going second. And the fact that it's not hard once per turn means it's great to see multiples of this card. So yeah, your 6 preps. I was waiting for the day. I said it probably almost a year ago. I said one day when I was showcasing my Herald of Perfection deck like this, the preps, I was like, one day we're going to be able to slap 3 of these here. And Konami listens, man. It's like they're going to take it off the ban list if they know it's not doing anything. 3 Juice and Berries. No, I'm sorry. 3 copies of the sauce. This is Juice and Berries. This is the sauce. This is like another God card. These are all your +1s. This deck plus is really hard. You can literally go bananas and end up with 10 cards in your hand and no way to set spells because they're all fairies, so you get sad and you have to discard during end phase. If your deck's so broken that you have to discard until you have 6 cards during the end phase, something needs to be fixed. But they're not going to do anything to Herald on the ban list. I promise you that, never. 3 Las Vegas. It is one of your key crucial focal points of the deck. It's a combo piece. It searches out whatever you want. It's searching every turn. It's a monster reborn every turn. This spell says win more. And then 3 Tides. This is your flex card if you get debarriered, or also if you need to apply more pressure and damage to the board. This puts a Barrier Statue next to Herald, plus it puts more powerful monsters. This actually searches your Stick Chair. Remember I was saying you have a million ways to search everything. This, basically, long story short, Ritual Sanctuary and the preps can search any light fairy because they search you the pieces to make Herald. And when you make Herald, you chibi your Benton. When you chibi your Benton, you search any light fairy. So these all search your light fairies. These all search your stick and chair. This deck automatically gets the stick and chair by default because you actually have, when you do the mathematical probability, you have literally 92% of your deck can get you to your stick and chair. Even if you're playing on a gamble of Pot of Desires, you can make it 95. This also gets you to your stick and chair because any light level 4 or lower fairy is gonna be targeted by this and special summon your Scepter and your Barrier Statue if you already have Honest, or it'll special Barrier Statue and Honest. Like, this gets you straight to your stick and chair. It puts more bodies on field so you can have more damage for your next turn push. And it says no matter what, I'm getting Barrier Statue next to Herald, and I'm also getting Honest. So this is a +2. And then we have 3 Dawn of the Herald. You really cannot play this deck without 3. You absolutely must play 3. You have 1 Optimus Prime and 1 Monster Reborn to sum up the spells. There's a lot of spells in this deck. But if you look at it, are any of these spells bad? Like, would you not want to draw any of these? Think of any scenario where you would not want to draw any of these spells. Absolutely not. These are all great. So if you have any one of these spells, your hand is officially broken. So this deck, when I say it's consistent, when I say it's great, when I say it's powerful, I don't just over-exaggerate. I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm speaking purely off of years, at least 10 years of experience. And I mean experience playing the deck strenuously through every format. There was a point in time when I played Herald for 5 years in a row. Every single format, no matter what ban list hit, every single format I played Herald. I was like, I don't care what decks are out. This is the deck I'm going to play. Like, I know this deck like the back of my hand. I don't even think it's possible to know anything else about this deck. Like, I've tested the waters. I've tested so many different things. I do research on I know almost every light fairy that exists. I did Asura Priest. I've done like everything with this deck. Like, so when I say that it's really good, I mean it, and I know what I'm talking about. And I think this deck's downfall is just True Dracos. And I've said that before. True Dracos is this deck's worst matchup. But if it's not True Draco, we've got it. Extra deck is 2 Herald of Arc Light. This is kind of like a package deal. It's for your Star Seraphs. You're always going to be making this going first and this going second. It's the best way to do it. And this is a win condition for 60 card anything decks for Lightsworns, Dinos, Shaddolls, Infernoids, Skull Servants. This card says neither player can send cards from the deck to the graveyard, so it means no Dragon Shrine, no Foolish, no Dragon's Ravine. Believe it or not, there's a lot of other applications outside of just 60 card milling decks, and it also negates any Dark Monsters effect. So you have this plus Herald. This is another negator potentially for the Oviraptor, Soul Eating Oviraptor, the Overtext Coatlicus, any Shaddolls. Any dark monsters, it negates them. It even, in the Pendulum Magician matchups, a lot of their monsters are dark. This negates Astrograph from hand, so if you're like Chainlink 1 Electrum, Chainlink 2 Astrograph, we'll negate the Astrograph and you'll just get your draw, and the Astro will hit the grave. So this is a powerful boss monster. I feel like it's worth the slot in my extra deck. And then we have just some generics, right? What I like about these in particular is for the True Draco matchup, these increase my ceiling. Because this says the cards that I automatically lose to, now I'm going to win no matter what, because you can't deal with my Herald. Because your methods of removal are targeting and graveyard effects, and these say no to both of them. So I keep these in my extra deck specifically for my Heralds because I know their weakness and I'm ready for it. Tornado Dragon and Baguska, kind of just generics. Baguska is like another trump card for when your Herald is just like either outed somehow Solemn Strike, because Solemn Strike still kills Herald. So then you're like, okay, we need to make something that's inequivalent. Well, not inequivalent, but kind of like Herald. So Baguska comes up. And then Tornado Dragon plus Herald is always strong. And then we have one of my favorites, Fairy Cheergrowth. I always play her. Even though she could be anything else, I just love her so much, I would never cut her. It's not really like she's broken. She just draws a card, but it's more or less like I love this card so much, I would never not play it. And then for links, you have Proxy and Underclock Taker, Decode, Borload, and Saryu's the Skull Dread. Excuse me. If you guys have seen my combo video for Herald, well, it was in a combo. It was like a hand that I drew, and then I played the hand through, then I made a video on it. We actually made 2 Skull Dreads and 3 Heralds and 1 Arclord Christia in one turn. 2 Skull Dreads, 3 Heralds, and 1 Arclord Christia. Our field was bananas. Absolutely bananas. You can pull this off first turn, like, I would say more than 50%, I would say just to be safe, 55% of the time, you can first turn this card. That's why we play it, because this card says win more. It's really good. Drawing more fairies, drawing more power plays is good. If you're wondering why Arc Lord Christia is not in my list right now, it's because I've been having a bad taste in my mouth about Dracos. I actually opened up with double Herald and Arc Lord Christia in game 1 playing at Herald's, and I thought to myself, oh, if he's playing anything that's not Draco, I got it. This guy literally set a trap, tributed it, popped my Herald, and then activates Diagram. I negated with Herald, and I forgot what he did after that, but he activated Diagram. I negated it with Herald. He somehow swung over my other Herald, and all I was left with just Arc Lord Christia, and I got so mad at Arc Lord Christia that duel that actually took her out. I should be playing her though, but I let my emotions cloud my judgment. She's a great card. She should be in here, but we've kind of been using Barrier Statue as a supplement for what Arc Lord Christia would do, because Barrier Statue is Christia, but it's not one-sided. It says I can special summon, but you can't special summon. So that's the deck profile, you guys. I went pretty in depth, and I know I said a couple side stories, but you know, honestly, I just felt like some stuff I can't really like hold my my tongue on, like especially about like how good Herald is. I know I wasted a lot of time talking about how good Herald is, but it's just like I love the deck so much. So I appreciate you guys so much for being patient and watching this deck profile. For those of you who are fans of the channel, you know I am an absolute Herald of Perfection fanatic. This is like the deck that I would never, ever, ever give up. So God bless y'all. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells, and stay tuned for future content. We're getting some work done. We're doing test hands. We're doing a lot of the stuff y'all been asking for. Just stay tuned for that. Peace out, y'all.